Welcome to MTN Outdoors.
Hey, welcome everybody to this week's episode of MTN Outdoors. I'm your guide, Andy Curtis, and today's show is a very, very special show because not only are we here at Glacier National Park, but you're tagging along on the Curtis family summer vacation. Working the camera right now is my lovely wife, Angela. Angela? Okay, never mind. I think I've got a vacation photo I can share. Yes, this one will work well. And while we're up here, we're going to take full advantage of all the beauty that this national park of ours has to offer and show you some real white knuckle, whitewater action here at Glacier. We're not actually going to do it. My wife and I are very responsible parents, and we have a small child with us. So no, not a chance. But we still have a story about it for you. We're also going to share some more information we've learned about that violent otter attack that happened on the Jefferson River here recently that sent one woman to the hospital. But first, before we get to those stories, it is fire season here in Montana, and recently Congress approved a slight raise for our federal wildland firefighters. Well, that's set to expire here if Congress doesn't act soon. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has the details.
Federal leaders say the pay increases included in a bipartisan infrastructure bill were intended as a temporary solution to support wildland firefighters. Without congressional action, federal firefighters' salaries are set to drop back down at the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. Senators Jon Tester and Steve Daines are both signed on as co-sponsors for a bill aimed at preventing that.
I hope fire season's over with by the end of September, but chances are it won't be. And we need these folks. We need them out there fighting fires.
These men and women spend every fire season on the front lines protecting our communities and our families. I believe it's important. Their pay reflects this.
In 2021, Congress approved up to $600 million for the increases. It boosted pay for almost 20,000 Forest Service and Interior Department firefighters, up to $20,000 or half their base pay. Daines and Tester are both co-sponsors of a bill that would permanently increase those firefighters' base pay. Daines says there will be clear consequences if Congress fails to act soon.
Several Montana wildland firefighters have told me they fear that without making this pay increase permanent, up to 50% of federal wildland firefighters will quit. The time to make this pay raise permanent is now.
A similar bill has also been introduced in the House. Tester says he's optimistic a fix can get through before the deadline, possibly added on to another key spending bill. He says the importance of these firefighters is getting through to lawmakers from all parts of the country. He pointed to events like the heavy smoke on the East Coast earlier this year.
That may be the best thing that could have ever happened, because that's what we live with here in Montana every August. We end up with smoky weather more times than not. And I think it brought about an awareness that wasn't there before. And I think it helped on this bill.
The Senate is set to be back in session after Labor Day, and the House will return a week after that, giving them less than a month to move something forward before the end of the fiscal year. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
We all know that living here in Montana isn't exactly a walk in the park, especially when you're here walking in one of our national parks. We have to pay attention to wildfires, grizzly bears. But did you know you also have to keep an eye out for otters? That's right, those formerly cute and cuddly little river creatures can actually be pretty dangerous. MTN's Alina Howder has a story of a group of women that just found that out firsthand.
Here at Zoo Montana, the otters are a fan favorite. They're cute and cuddly, but there's a lot about these animals that people don't know. When they feel threatened, they can be dangerous.
It was supposed to be a relaxing day on the river, a birthday celebration for Jen Royce with two of her best friends. But it ended with the trio fighting for their lives. Jen still has a long road to recovery ahead of her and isn't ready to speak out about the incident, but did want to share her account of what happened. She writes on social media, "The attack began just before dark when she noticed an otter behind her friend, but says, quote, I didn't even have a chance to get the words, 'There is an otter behind you,' out of me before it attacked her. Within seconds, all 3 women were under attack. Royce writes, "This thing was vicious and relentless. It bit my face in several places, both of my ears, my arms, my hands, my leg, my thighs, and my ankle. My friends were bit on the hands and on their bottom. One friend's thumb was shredded and she had bite marks all over her body as well." Jen says that because they were in the middle of the river, she was unable to reach the bottom with her feet, making it tough to defend herself. Writing, "We were helpless. I tried to kick it away, but I would just get attacked somewhere else. I tried to hold it back at one point by grabbing its arm to hold it away while trying to swim closer to shore."
In the wild, they are pretty territorial animals, especially around their young.
Jeff Ewalt is the executive director of Zoo Montana. While he doesn't know why the animals attacked, he says otters can be dangerous.
You can only do so much to fight back, again, when you're in the water. Those teeth, I mean, they're carnivores. They're built to eat crustaceans and fish, so powerful bite on them. They've got some pretty good claws as well, but it's really that mouth that you gotta watch for.
Jen Royce and her friends know that all too well. She thought she was going to die, writing, quote, "With all my heart, I did not think I was not going to wake up if I closed my eyes and passed out. I made the choice, knowing the pain it would cause my friend, to tell her I loved her and to ask her to watch over my kids." Royce and her friends waited 53 long minutes on the riverbank for help to arrive. Royce has since undergone surgery and lost half of her right ear. Her ankles, legs, arm, and face were also badly punctured. But she's thankful to be alive after the fight of her life.
Fighting back is going to be the best option because they're not going to give up on you. They're going to, especially if you're in the water, they're going to try to eliminate the threat.
Alina Howder, MTN News.
All right, so this next story is about more of a typical Montana wildlife encounter, even though it's not typical behavior for this large cat. MTN's Haley Monaco has more about a mountain lion that was recently in Lockwood.
This is the Lockwood neighborhood where one mountain lion was recently shot and killed. Now neighbors tell me it was actually shot first in a tree a bit further down and then ran into the neighborhood. Officials tracked it here and then shot it in front of someone's home.
This quiet street had quite the day Saturday when a mountain lion was euthanized by game wardens. This photo shows just how close it ended up to a home.
So the problem that we see is these cats are getting so used to humanity.
According to Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, residents in the area had reported seeing the animal multiple times over the last week. The animal was reportedly in poor physical condition and was showing dangerous and bold behavior, such as hunting during the day. According to state policy, relocating mountain lions is prohibited because of the many failed attempts to relocate in the past.
If you relocate them, they come back.
And that's not the only community dealing with mountain lion mayhem.
Here in the small town of Edgar, one man is claiming there's a new resident in town, a mountain lion, terrorizing his property and killing his livestock.
And I'm afraid for the dog. It was not afraid of me at all, or of a running lawnmower.
Nev Harding says he and his 12-year-old Great Dane have seen the mountain lion many times.
Standing right in front of me was a mountain lion, broadside, just looking at me.
Luckily, his dog was able to scare it off that time, but Harding claims something has killed 3 of his roosters and 13 chickens.
If it was totally removed, I wouldn't have a problem.
Harding says he has reached out to FWP in Billings but was directed to Helena. FWP in Billings tells MTN it hasn't received any reports of mountain lions in the Edgar area. But mountain lions are common here in Billings and beyond, and with activity on the rise, many from Lockwood to Edgar are on high alert. In Edgar, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
And since we're talking about the big cat, what better topic to focus on for this week's MTN Outdoors trivia question? According to the U.S. Forest Service, what is the typical home range of an adult male mountain lion? Is it A, 200 square miles, B, 100 square miles, or C, 50 square miles? If you stay within your home range, we'll have your answer when we come back.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of MTN Outdoors. I'm your guide, Andy Curtis, and we are currently up here at Glacier National Park trying to find a parking spot at Logan Pass with absolutely no luck. Now, before the break, I asked you this week's MTN Outdoors trivia question. Wait. Now, before the break, I asked you this week's MTN Outdoors trivia question, and just in case you missed it because I'm such a nice guy, here it is one more time. According to the U.S. Forest Service, what is the typical home range of an adult male mountain lion? Is it A, 200 square miles, B, 100 square miles, or C, 50 square miles? If you think about 100 square miles sounds about right, then you are correct. This time, big toms call about 100 square miles their home range, where females generally stick to smaller 20 to 60 square mile ranges. Now, for as much as I love just driving around in circles, getting cut off by people with out-of-state plates here at Glacier National Park, I'm told there are other fun things you can do that don't involve driving your car. MTN's Carter Culver shows us.
Montana is home to some of the best recreational sports in the country. And one during the summer that attracts people from all over is whitewater rafting, something that Glacier Guides Montana provides all summer long.
Every time you get on the river, you have this little bit of anticipation of excitement, and you're going out there, you're paddling, and you get out into the water, and you are surrounded by such clean water, such beautiful rocks, such great geology, the chance to see wildlife right next to the national park.
Now an owner after starting out as a guide 29 years ago, Janu knows nothing beats the looks on everyone's faces after they finish rafting on the Middle Fork River, whether it be the exhilarating rapids ride or the scenic relaxation float.
We will bring a family where someone may be very apprehensive, children or parents in the beginning, and at the end they are just overjoyed with the experience which they've had. And that is something which never grows old. It's so wonderful seeing people forget about what city they're from or where they've been, and just to be present and in the moment.
One family from Ontario, Canada has been on several rafting trips in North America, but for them, the experience here in Montana takes the cake.
This would be the bigger rapids the girls have ever, actually, and Jared's ever done. I've done bigger rapids before, but this would be the bigger ones they've ever done.
You guys like it a little more?
Yeah.
As for their favorite parts of the 3-hour ride,
I liked the rapid where the rocks were close together and they kind of squeezed you through them.
I like the bone crusher.
The bone crusher was great.
I like seeing the girls handle themselves in a mature way in the water.
As for Janu and fellow owner Mark O'Keefe, their favorite part is the people.
It's definitely working with all the people we get to work with, all the staff, all the guides, all the customers who come back year after year, and also just being involved with Glacier National Park and the surrounding area is fabulous. I mean, it's just so wonderful. Glacier never gets old.
Glacier Guides offer tours all summer long and are located off of Highway 2, a mile south of the park's western entrance. In West Glacier, Carter Culver, MTN Sports.
All right, well, like a lot of people we struck out trying to find a parking space at Logan Pass, and now we're driving defeated down going to the Sun Road. And if you've ever found yourself in a similar situation, and I'm sure you have, and you need a way to de-stress, it turns out there's a pretty ancient Japanese practice that's making kind of a comeback here in Montana. And guess what? It takes place out in the forest.
It's such a weird term, but it has been life-changing for me, and I don't say that lightly. It has really brought peace and intention and just calmness into a life that was a little crazy before.
Forest bathing is a form of therapy that comes from ancient Japanese practices, but it can be found right here in Missoula.
The forest is the therapist, and I am a guide that opens the doors.
Deborah Goslin is a forest bathing guide in Missoula, helping people find wellness by connecting them with nature.
But it's not a hike for exercise. It's not a naturalist walk. It's a different way of being out in nature.
Her forest bathing session starts with a meditation using the sights, sounds, smells, and feel of the environment.
Notice what you're touching with your fingers.
Goslin then has participants slowly wander and observe the forest around them. After about 10 minutes, the group gathers to talk about what they noticed and what they felt.
It's just astonishing what people are willing to share with strangers in a setting like that.
This cycle continues for about 2 hours, but can be longer or shorter depending on the instructor. Forest bathing focuses on the 5 senses, even ending with tasting a nature tea made from pine needles and flowers.
The more that we can use our senses and really be in our body instead of just in our heads, I think that allows us to be in more connection with ourselves.
For decades, studies, including through the National Institute of Health, have been done on the benefits of forest bathing, showing it can reduce stress levels, anxiety, and depression, as well as boost immune system health and lower blood pressure.
You hear people say, it's like, oh, yeah, the woods are my therapy, or the woods are my fun place, my happy place. And now there's research to show that it really can be.
Forest bathing can be done in a group with a guide, which Gosselin recommends for the first time. But it can also be learned through books and done alone, making it an affordable and accessible form of therapy for Montanans.
I started just sitting outside, mostly in my backyard, but also along the creek.
Gosselin is leading forest bathing sessions at the University of Montana on Wednesday, August 9th and Sunday, August 13th. And a portion of the proceeds will be donated to the campus arboretum.
And I just think it's so valuable for so many people, and encourage you to try it.
In Missoula, Claire Peterson, MTN News.
One thing about living in the Treasure State is you never run out of things that you can do. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and there are still some things that I've never experienced. This experience, however, is one you don't want to miss out on.
So the Gates of the Mountains boat tour has been going on for more than 100 years. It's a 2-hour boat ride through our just beautiful scenic canyon along the Missouri River. It's about an hour down, an hour back.
Located just 20 miles north of Helena, the Gates of the Mountains boat tour features dazzling sights of limestone cliffs, glimpses of wildlife, and a seemingly magical optical illusion.
When you're further away, it looks like a rock wall. And as you're coming across the river, they'll slowly begin to open. Pretty neat. And you could understand how Lewis and Clark would have called it the Gates to the Rocky Mountains.
Much to the history buff's delight, it's a trek through the same path Meriwether Lewis took during the Corps of Discovery.
This place looks like it did when they came by in 1805.
This is Sacagawea too, the old lady of the fleet. Fantastic views.
On board the Sacagawea 2 tour boat is Captain Kari Skadberg, who has been sailing the canyon for 5 years. An avid storyteller, no one knows the history of the passage quite like her.
Looks like the river's pinched off, finished, nowhere to go. Keep watching. When you're out here, you will get history, you will get geology, you'll get to see wildlife. People from all over the world say it's one of the most magnificent places they've ever seen.
It's just absolutely beautiful. It's historic. It's nature. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. Can't say enough good things.
The boat ride is just another reason why Montana has earned the name the last best place.
All sorts of good stuff to see and experience. It's definitely worth it. We have been busy. I definitely recommend getting tickets ahead of time on our website, gatesofthemountains.com.
For more information on the tours, you can visit our website. On the Missouri River, Brianna Juneau, MTN News.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Hey everybody, welcome back to MTN Outdoors. I'm Andy Curtis. And you are riding along this week with the Curtis family on our summer vacation to Glacier National Park. And you know what? My time here at the park this weekend has really made me appreciate just how much better animals are than humans. Except for in this one area where we totally run them out of the stadium. MTN's Tanner Saul explains.
Cheetahs can run up to 70 miles an hour. Owls can twist their heads 270 degrees. And electric eels can transmit a shock between 600 and 800 volts. And well, humans, well, we are the best endurance runners out there. No, seriously, we can run longer than any animal in the world. The fastest man in the world couldn't beat a cheetah in a dead sprint, but a cheetah's blazing speed quickly exhausts their energy, needing to rest after a short sprint. And as they're resting, Usain Bolt is running right past them. Before hunting weapons were a thing, our ancestors literally chased animals till they collapsed and died in a method called persistence hunting. And this is where endurance running became a defining trait of our species. Our secrets to endurance come from efficient cooling, which means we are really good at sweating. And yes, other animals do sweat, but humans have the most sweat glands of any mammal. And more importantly, we don't have all that fur trapping in heat, allowing for easier cooling. We also have well-developed Achilles tendons, which act like springs storing and releasing energy with each step. Then there's our prominent gluteus maximus, so you know, your butt. A key muscle responsible for stabilizing our torso while running. And finally, our brains. Our highly developed brains play a crucial role in our capacity to push through mental barriers during prolonged activities. Running releases endorphins that create feelings of euphoria and reduce the perception of pain, which we commonly refer to as a runner's high. This gives us a significant mental advantage over other animals. So whether you're taking the first step to run a mile or even a marathon, we were all born to run. In Missoula, Tanner Saul, MTN News.
Well, everybody, that should just about do it for us here this week at MTN Outdoors. Thank you for watching, and remember, send your photos to me at andy.curtis@ktvh.com of you doing anything that involves the great outdoors here in Montana. Maybe, for example, you and your family are taking a trip to Glacier National Park. I want to see those pictures, and I want to put them up at the end of a future episode. Just like these folks, it's time for this week's MTN Outdoors Brag Board. And this week, we're going to dip into the MTN Outdoors Brag Board vault a little bit because it is pronghorn hunting season for some of us this week. So in honor of that, here's a picture of MTN's very own Marion Davidson's husband, Vito, after a successful hunt last year. Nice looking doe there, Vito, and I know for a fact he has another tag for this season. So hopefully when he's successful again, he'll send in another picture, and when he does, of course, you'll see it right here. And this one is the gift that keeps on giving. I have too many of these great photos from Dwayne, so here are just a few of him doing what it sure looks like he does best. Fishing here in Montana, both in a boat and outside a boat. All right, thanks again, everybody, for spending some time with us here this week. And until next week, stay safe, and I'll see you out there.
Oh.